Okay, so we got Greg Lund here. Secure Asset Transfer Protocol, a new technical standard for the internet itself. Only the most bullish narrative in all of digital assets is probably nothing. And then you have right here, we are extremely grateful to the Quant team for supporting this IETF protocol development from the beginning. Are you ready?
We on location. I remember way back. You ain't have no swag. You did a little research. Now you got a moon bag. Now you got a new walk. Now you got new swag. You did a little research. Now you got a moon bag. Well, let me show you what the moon bag's like. You take them gains when it gets that high. I mean, the market may dip for a little bit. That's when I hurry up and buy. Me, I just wanna rub them thighs. I like my oatmeal chunky. Banana nuts all in it. Shit, you're talking about the blockchain monkeys. It's a solo nation.
Ambrosia Collective has a pre-workout that is mushroom enhanced. How did I find it? Well, first of all, I take a plant-based protein. And where do I get it? Ambrosia Collective. Link is in the description. And what do I mix with that? Sea moss. Has over 92 minerals that the body needs. Okay, now got my immune system in check. But now when it comes to crypto, we're talking about cold storage. Get your crypto off the exchange and into a cold storage wallet to where only you have access. Okay, DCENT wallet link in the description. Now, what is going on, blockchain monkeys? Igor here, and I want to thank you for coming to my jungle. But first of all, I'm no financial advisor whatsoever, nor am I professional in blockchain technology. But there is one thing that I absolutely will do, and that's give my opinion. So today, we have got to go back in on Quant Networks QNT. You better believe it. What they are building and putting together. Like Quant, Gilbert, what are you guys doing over there? Like the whole team is just on a mission right now. Wait till you see what I got to show you. But before I can even get to it, I'm gonna need you to rub those hands together. Rub vigorously. And slide down Twitter. With Quant Overledger, unlocking the benefits of blockchain is incredibly easy. It's an operating system that lets you connect or interoperate any legacy network and every current and future blockchain with no extra overhead. I need you to get that through your system, ladies and gentlemen, okay? This allows for unprecedented levels of flexibility and interoperability. Current blockchain networks operate in siloed fashion, defeating the purpose of congruent networks. Overledger allows these protocols to seamlessly communicate with each other, external networks, consortiums, and legacy systems. So, ladies and gentlemen, I had to bring you over here to the Future of Finance YouTube channel. Chris Hamilton goes absolutely ham. He gets surgical and he pinpoints inevitable appearance of falling money. Take a listen.
Models. The real problem, of course, we don't actually have CBDCs in all the major currencies or major currency pairs yet. So,
or any of them, actually.
Or any of them, yeah.
Except Chinese, except renminbi.
So if I said to you, is linking CBD systems a solution, the long-term solution here to these high costs, slow speeds, lack of transparency, would you say yes, or would you say we have to wait and see? Chris?
Yeah, okay. So maybe, but not because the tech is somehow fundamentally better for cross-border, but because it is being thought about and designed and built in an era when this is a problem that people are thinking about. So the benefit we have here is that the proponents of CBDC have the opportunity to build the world in a more greenfield way than they normally get. So let's go back a step and unpack that. What's CBDC for? Why all the excitement? It's not about cross-border, fundamentally. It's not primarily about that.
Newsflash!
The OMFIF survey, which they ran last year of central banks, actually says that there was a clear majority there that actually cross-border payments were a very low priority for banks, for central banks considering CBDC. So you're right about that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. If you go and listen to the discussions about that in the BIS, in central banks all over the world, it's not about that. And it is about a couple of fundamental things, though. One of them is the inevitable impending disappearance of folding money and the need for central banks to manage monetary policy in a world without folding money. That's actually probably the single biggest reason.
There you go.
For CBDC, and we can go into detail about why that is some other webinar, I guess. So, it's primarily a very domestic, very national economy kind of concern that is driving most CBDC inquiry. But having said that, if you're going to do it and a bunch of your friends are going to do it at the same time, why not try and get some coordination of design? And that's where projects like Dunbar come from. Dunbar's really interesting for a couple of reasons. It's I think 8 central banks.
Good God!
Talking about how to all do CBDC on a common interoperable technical platform, right? So it solves for everything except FX. So the FX problem is still there in the sense that each of these CBDCs is a different national currency, right? So you're still going to have an FX conversion problem and liquidity issues associated with that and price issues associated with that. But if you can solve everything else in terms of how to move these things around, how to send the messages and receive them, how to minimize errors, which potentially you can, then you can start to see how there might be.
You see where Quant comes in, ladies and gentlemen, when he speaks about the interoperability part and having these things connect. Come on with it.
Serious benefit there. But it comes at pretty major cost. All of those central banks would then have to maintain in lockstep their technical solutions for CBDC.
Absolutely. Okay, so heading back to Greg Lunt, interoperability. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, interoperability seems to be coming out of each and everybody's mouth, okay? Is a major key to the future of blockchain. Don't just take it from me. Listen to the world's most successful technologists and investors. And over here we have Mary Ann, who is on the Future of Finance, dripping you with that heat. Take a listen.
Second, with regards to CBDCs, I'm most closely, because I'm in the US, tied to the Digital Dollar Project here. And it's being led by some really great folks, Daniel Gorfine and Chris Giancarlo, who are with the CFTC. And they say, if we can send a man to the moon, why can't we send the dollar to cyberspace? It is a complicated thing. And when we do it, because so much of every type of FX transaction goes through, 88% is still through the US dollar, because it's not one of both sides, one side of the equation. So it is just such an enormous project, and it is 5 to 7 years out. It is not something that is going to be happening anytime soon. And the interoperability.
What did you just say?
The interoperability for these.
Okay, interoperability. That's what I thought you said.
Types of interactions is just so critical. So if you're building on different structures, you need to be able to pass information in from a meta layer in between different systems. And how can we do that in real time?
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we got to head on over to Quant Networks' official site. You see here, Quant bolsters DLT security and interoperability with secure asset transfer protocol. Do you understand how ginormous this is? Huh? Quant is among the participants of the recently approved IETF working group developing a new internet protocol which will make the transfer of digital assets more secure and DLT networks more interoperable. Now we're talking about the Secure Asset Transfer Protocol, okay? I'll leave this link in the description below. Yes, indeed, we get surgical with this thing, but what I wanted to do is head on over to the Quamfi show. And what they did was they broke this thing all the way down to where a 5-year-old could understand it. Now, you're going to want to listen to this whole video because they break down the SATP, but take a listen how he breaks down how much of a gorilla Gilbert Verdian is.
But it gets really interesting if you are Gil and you have been thinking for 20 years about how to do this, what you need to do for this, right? He's on the IETF, he's on all these boards and all these groups, and then decided to make his little gateways, because they are the, and I'm just picking up my 2 vaporizers in our promotion, but
what Gilbert Verdian was doing, he was creating the solution and he was making the shovels. Come on.
These are the gateway things, and he already designed this because he knows that these things and the coils that go in here are going to be instrumental when this in-between space, now my pinkies, now it's going to be complicated, when that goes live. So if that's simple, imagine thinking of Android. Android is an open source.
Goodness gracious.
Imagine that you thought up that Android should be the solution. And whilst you are making all the connections and all the networks, you are on the back end creating your Samsung phones or your phones, right? So that is where the Quant tokens are. The gateways are the Samsung phones, and the QNT tokens are integral for that. So it's really clever. It's really clever to have a solution and then create another solution for that solution and then monetize either one of those.
Cause it's the standard in this bitch. XRP. I went to YouTube University, and now they mocking me with no degree. We saying by the swift, keep it walking. Respect your elders in these bushes. Bitcoin is talking.
You don't have to be rich to be taking advantage of this. This was the beginning of the greatest transformation of wealth the world has ever fucking seen since World War II.
Blockchain. We talking about an intellectual choo-choo train. It's DLT up in these streets, man. That's why we rip all on that blockchain.